guys, Truetalk here, and today we're going to be reviewing episode 5 of Black Lightning. So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is that in the very beginning of the episode we see that Jefferson has new powers per se, or is able to use his powers in a new way to allow him to fly, which is really cool. Again, I kind of like that every episode we're getting something new with his powers or a new upgraded piece of his tech to kind of serve the story a little bit. So that was really cool. Like, he's able to fly now. That's something that he can use in his arsenal of his suit and everything. But we also get, in this episode as well, we see that his suit is kind of flawed and there's something wrong with it and causing him to have headaches and pass out at one point during the episode. So this is going to be interesting to see how the suit progresses. And again, I really enjoy that we get to see something new every episode with his powers or the suit. The next thing I want to talk about is the very obvious Batman Easter egg, kind of, when Jefferson meets with Director Henderson and gives him a phone and calls it the Black Signal, which is obviously a play off the word of the Bat Signal with, in Batman lore as well. And we see that Black Lightning and Director Henderson are going to have a kind of relationship that Batman and Commissioner Gordon have in the comics and in TV shows and everything else. So that's kind of cool to see. They're both working towards the same thing, and we see that even Henderson actually uses the phone and gives Jefferson information on where to find Joey Toledo. Next thing I want to talk about is Jennifer's costume. We see her in the cat suit from a couple episodes ago, and it rips. And we see her go shopping for a new suit. We see the new suit. I kind of like it as a proto suit. It's kind of reminiscent of a Black Lightning suit. Obviously, the suit is not going to stay forever because we do know that she's going to be getting her other suit that's more tech-based, kind of like her father's. But I like this suit in the meantime. It's kind of cool and colorful. It's not, black and blue or, dark colors. It's kind of brightish and has color. There's some blue, some yellow, and everything else. So that costume, I would say we're going to see that for a couple more episodes and it's going to go away. The next 3 things that I want to talk about all have to do with Tobias Whale and things that we found out about him in this episode. So the first thing in the episode that we find out about Tobias Whale is that he comes to Peter Gamby's tailor shop. So we know that there's a relationship there. They know each other. I mean, they don't like each other, but they know each other and all of that. And we see that Gamby talks to him and saying, like, I don't care that you have that serum that allows you to not age. So this is interesting to note because there has always been a question by some from even the second episode where he kind of just kills Lala with his hand, and no human of normal strength should be able to do that, but we see him do that. And we also see in this episode him give his father a hug and basically squeeze him enough to where his hug broke his father's back. So there's obviously something going wrong. Tobias Whale is enhanced in some way, so that should be interesting to follow. And also, I think that based off of everything in the episode, I think whatever serum that he has in his blood is tied to the green light, because the green light individuals also exhibit extra strength, but they're also kind of going crazy as well. So I feel like maybe the green light is an attempt at replicating the serum that is in Tobias's system, but it's not correct and causes the people to go crazy and get addicted to it. So this is interesting to see. Also, with everything that Anissa was investigating about her grandfather, I'd be willing to bet that Tobias and Black Lightning were both tested on, or both one of these kids that were tested on by their grandfather and whatever else. And that's how the two of them got their powers. So that's be interesting to see it was mentioned that there was 9 of them, so there's 7 others out there. We will have to see, who those other 7 are, or if maybe they're dead or passed on or whatever. But that should be kind of a mystery right now to, what's going on, unless there might be a small possibility that those other 7 or are the higher up people that is talked about in the episode. And that mystery will unfold throughout the season and throughout the series. The next thing I want to talk about is we see that Tobias get upset. So basically what's happening is he's working for Lady Eve, and he's kind of like a lackey for a higher up group of individuals. So what's going to happen here, what, his hope is to, I guess, be promoted to be on that higher up, I guess, group of people. So this is going back to Lady Eve's character description from when she was cast. She's going to be the connection between Tobias Whale and corrupt individuals. So she's kind of the middleman between Tobias and this higher up group of individuals that are corrupt, that he's, I guess, trying to join in and be able to have that power. So that's going to continue to unfold throughout this season as well. The last thing I want to talk about is, in this episode, we get a lot of Tobias' backstory. So we see that him and his sister, their father was an abusive father, basically. So they didn't have a very good childhood growing up with their father. I also kind of find it interesting that when they flashed back, what they did was they cast a child actor to play the little sister, and he was still him. I kind of feel like, I thought it was an interesting choice in the direction of the show, just to kind of see like him in present day kind of reliving that experience from his childhood. But I feel like it was also might be because it's might have been hard to find an albino child to play him. But I think it's interesting. It's an interesting choice nonetheless to see that. And we got, in this episode, we got like a little backstory of him and his father and their relationship from when they were children. And obviously in this episode we see that Tobias goes to his father and basically breaks his back and leaves him to basically die a slow death on the floor of his house. So it's kind of sick and twisted, but I like that we were able to get a backstory on Tobias Will in this episode. And I feel like in the upcoming episodes, because the idea and the backstory of Jefferson's father has been introduced in this episode as well, we are going to see, probably next episode with Anissa investigating things from the articles, we're going to see, I guess, the history of Jefferson's father. Alright guys, just a reminder, next week there is no Black Lightning airing, but the week after the Olympics, Black Lightning will be coming back along with all the other DC TV shows, The Flash, Arrow, and all of that in 2 weeks from now. And so here's the description for the episode that's going to be airing in 2 weeks on February 27th. 3/7's The Book of Thunder. To right the wrongs. Jefferson is on the hunt for his father's killer, while Anissa uses her powers to rectify a wrong after a protest fails. Jennifer grapples with some difficult choices. Elsewhere, Gamby begs for help from Lynn. So, just going through this sentence by sentence, Jefferson is going to be continuing this hunt for Tobias Whale, pretty much. In this episode, we see him find Joey Toledo, and who is, back in the day, I guess, was Tobias's, right-hand man. So Jefferson's going to be looking and probably discover that Tobias Whale is still alive. So he's going to continue that progression to trying to find Tobias and kill him, I guess. Next thing we see, Anissa uses her powers to rectify a wrong. So, not 100% sure what this can mean, but there's obviously going to be some kind of protest going on next episode and maybe someone gets hurt or something happens and her superhero personality has to step in to, get justice for someone that was hurt or wronged or in some way. So we'll get to see her suit again next episode, most likely. Jennifer grapples with some choices. This might be where, continuing with her story of, being a student, we might get more insight into her deciding to run track or not. We might see her, interact with Khalil again. I'm not sure. But I feel like we are in due time for Jennifer and, exploring her track and whether or not she's going to continue doing that. Because there has been scenes and trailers and everything of her running track that we have not seen. So maybe this is where that comes into play next episode, where she, decides to run track again, possibly. And Gabby's going to be begging for help from Lynn. So this episode, we see that Jefferson's suit is malfunctioning in some way, causing him to have a headache and pass out. So Gammy's probably going to be enlisting the help of Lynn to try to rectify the situation and basically figure out what's going wrong with the suit to fix it so that Jefferson is not in any danger, the next time he goes out as Black Lightning. As always, guys, check out my blog. Link will be in the description. Follow me on social media to stay up to date with everything when I post things and all of that on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, happy Tuesday. Let's talk.